The powerful chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Congressman Bob Goodlatte, seems to be at the nexus of nearly every major issue with which this nation is contending, and we welcome him now to the broadcast. Congressman, great to see you. Let me turn to first you and Senator Grassley sending the Department of Homeland Security, Secretary Jay Johnson, a letter calling for action on sanctuary cities. Many people in this country, I think, thought some action was being taken. Your letter makes it clear that that isn't the case.
No, it is very definitely not the case, and it's very unfortunate because I thought that what happened in San Francisco would be a wake-up call to this administration that tolerating sanctuary city policies in a few hundred cities across the country is very detrimental to the safety of American citizens. But now we have seen murder after murder after murder by people who are not lawfully present in the United States taking place since Kate Steinle's tragic death in San Francisco a few months ago.
Congressman, if I may interject with just a few of the dates and some of the victims that you noted in your letter to Secretary Johnson. If we could have this. You referred to Kate Steinle murdered on July 1st. Then, on the 24th of July, Marilyn Ferris, raped, tortured, murdered, an illegal immigrant charged with those crimes. July 27th, an illegal immigrant arrested and accused of killing 60-year-old Margaret Kostelnick in Ravenna Road, Ohio. July 30th, a 2-year-old girl brutally beaten by an illegal immigrant in San Luis Obispo County, California. And the list goes on, as you point out in your letter. Is there any prospect of a meaningful response from this administration, your letter and that of Chuck Grassley? This is an administration that's made itself clear it will not enforce law.
Well, it's very discouraging. In fact, just today, the Associated Press released a report showing that deportations of those unlawfully present in the United States is at its lowest level since 2006, notwithstanding the administration's claims that deportations are up. That is clearly not the case. And they said, well, they're going to emphasize deporting criminal aliens, but in fact, they're also at their lowest level of deportation since he took office. So this is very discouraging, and it's a real public safety issue that this president could do a lot about, and a lot about immediately, to make Americans more safe.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, a couple of quick subjects to touch upon. One is the announcement by the administration by the end of this month, 6,000 inmates in federal prisons will be released under the new sentencing guidelines. Your reaction?
Well, what's unfortunate about those sentencing guideline changes is that they were made retroactive and apply to anyone, whether they committed a nonviolent crime or a violent crime. So I wrote to the department, to the Attorney General, and asked for a list of those who are being released into my congressional district. We took that list. The very first name on the list was somebody who had been convicted of murder. Right. That is a very serious, violent crime. So we need to do criminal justice reform, but we need to do it here in the Congress in a bipartisan way where we establish the rules and not allow a commission like this to act. And secondly, we need to make sure that we're not releasing violent criminals before their time has been served.
More than violent criminals, potentially terrorists being brought in, and as you have noted and alerted the public to the danger, Syrian refugees, as many as 10% estimated by some, to be Islamic State terrorists posing as refugees. You're going to hold hearings how soon?
Well, we were going to hold them tomorrow, but some scheduling problems with some witnesses has caused us to delay it. But as soon as we can get that back together, we're going to hold that hearing. And again, Lou, when they announced this, the Secretary of State kindly called me the day before the announcement was made to let me know of this increase and assured me that all of the precautions were taken for security checks on these people, but they cannot answer the question, how do you do security checks in Syria where the country is in total disarray? We have no police presence there to be able to do that kind of check, and we're already the most generous country in the world in terms of immigration. of refugees. Two-thirds of all the refugees referred by the UN are admitted into the United States. We do not need to increase that number, and we certainly shouldn't do it where there's a credible risk of terrorism.
You should be by now, well, you should be accustomed to the president's unilateralism on a host of issues. I know you're not.